this isn't new. What is this?
This isn't new. This is last year's Alienware M15. Made things thin, made it small, and apparently the looks were a little too much for some people who thought, you know what, I'm an Alienware fan. I like the old looks, or I like a different look. Let's do something different. Well, Alienware heard you, and this year we have the brand new Alienware M15. As you can see, the styling is very reminiscent of the big old Area 51M. It has the rounded exhaust ports. It has the LEDs. A little hard to see right now in this lighting.
Oh no, but it still looks nice. I really like that the LED on the back.
The LED is nice.
Yeah.
Let's look at the bottom because you like it. You've got the honeycomb hexagon vents that we also saw in the Area 51. Very nice, very nice. It's also really thin, but there's a lot more to this laptop than just how it looks, folks, because it's what's inside that matters. Let's get to the keyboard. This is actually very important. Alienware said, you know what? Gaming keyboards and laptops, especially thin laptops, they kind of stink. Some people have tried to put in those thin mechanical keys. Those things stink too. So what they said is they went in and tuned and designed a keyboard so you would get a really good tactile feedback. It is still rubber dome. It is not mechanical, but I will tell you, I've used mechanical thin keyboards. They're not that great. This one, when you type on it,
has a really good bump to it.
It has a really good bump to it. I'm gonna type. It's, of course, you can't see. You're just seeing me type. But let me tell you, it just has a really good. That actuation point feels almost mechanical to me. Almost.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's just good, but it's definitely not a mechanical keyboard as in you'd get from a full-size keyboard. But this is pretty nice. Travel's improved. The older M15 had 1.4 millimeters of travel. The new one has 1.7 millimeters. So inside, Alienware said, we put in Intel's brand new 8-core CPU. So Core i9 is basically the unlocked part of the 8-core 9th gen part. And they'll run everywhere from GTX 1650 if you want it, all the way up to RTX 2080 Max-Q, of course. I know, of course, everybody on the internet immediately says, oh, well, this thing's not going to be able to handle that, so it's going to throttle all kinds of stuff. I know. I asked Alienware, how are you going to handle that? They said, well, one of the things they did is they redesigned the power delivery on this laptop so that they can drive the CPU and the GPU harder than they could on the previous design. In fact, they're seeing basically the CPU run at 5.2 gigahertz. Let me say that again, folks. 5.2 gigahertz, single-threaded, obviously, without throttling. So that's pretty decent. So you're going to throw in a 2080 also. Just for cooling, they basically put a thermal budget of 100 watts for the GPU, 45 watts for the CPU. So it's probably going to run pretty hard.
Wow, that's awesome.
For screen options, kind of like the current Alienware Area 51M, it's crazy. You get everything. You get everything from 60 hertz FHD all the way up to 240 hertz, as well as 4K OLED with a new blue light remover feature. That's pretty cool.
Well, what kind of upgrades are for the 17?
And the 17 is essentially a bigger version of it. Both of the Ethernet options, 1 gigabit or 2.5 gigabit. I'm going to guess it's killer parts. Let's look at the 17. So if an Area 51 is too big for you, this is pretty thin. Oh, and as far as thickness, the previous M15 was about 22 millimeters. This one's about 17 millimeters. Okay. Or sorry, 20 millimeters. There's a certain point where it is 17 millimeters. So it is pretty thin, roughly 5 pounds. Let's also get into what's inside, because I know people like to talk about upgrading these things. To make it this thin, one compromise Alienware did was they went away from SODIMMs, modules that you could pull the memory in and out. The memory is soldered down on the board, which means you're not going to be able to change it, right, folks? They did make available 2 M.2 slots, and they are on the bottom, so you could pull the bottom off and put in a bigger 2 terabyte M.2 SSD when you want to, but the memory is going to be permanent. Keep in mind, day one, the options for memory will be 8 gigs or 16 gigs. I know that's going to be a needle scratch for some. They do say that, yeah, we are going to get to 1632, but we need the memory technology to get there, so definitely get the 16 gig, folks. Oh, one last thing, it also has the option for Tobii eye tracker. On the top end screens, you can buy it. If you buy the 4K, you buy the 240 hertz, you can the OLED Tobii eye tracker. Not available on the bottom end. Also, full Microsoft Precision trackpad drivers. And let's get into the price. They both start at $14.99, and of course, as you pile on options, is going to get more expensive. So everywhere from i5 all the way up to Core i9, and everywhere from 1650, GTX 1650, all the way up to an RTX 2080. You can order in June 11th, and you'll be able to get it on July 1st. Can't wait to get one in. I am very interested to see if the 8-core Core i9 can really do what they say it will in this laptop. 5.2 is a lot, so let's see if we can do it.
Also, I think people will like the new redesign of the redesign.
Oh, the redesign of the redesign?
Yeah.
I like it. I didn't mind the old one myself. Obviously, some people didn't like it. Oh, and also no G-Sync option. Interestingly, the whole idea is we want give you decent battery life, and I think the battery capacity is about 77 watt hours. Fairly decent, so you're going to get 4 or 5 hours of use out of it, probably. G-Sync really does kill battery because you've got the GPU in all the time. That doesn't happen with these laptops.
Cool. Thanks, Gordon.
All right. Can't wait to see it.